Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia, I'm your hostess, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. That's P-E-A-R-L, of the Pacific. You can also find me on my website, which is pearlofthepacific.info. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Knitted Paradise. You can also find the podcast on Ravelry. There's a group, Knitted Paradise Podcast. So those are all the ways to keep in touch. And yes, today is Monday, June 16th. This is episode 30, and I don't have a title for it yet. I will by the time I post this. Let's get started with Blow the Conch Shell. Today I have just one announcement, actually a couple announcements now I'm looking at the show notes. I have some knitting. I don't spin, so I don't have spinning. And I have not finished anything, but I have some fun things to show you. Let's see, one announcement. It's June. The June knit along is going on, and the theme is fruit. So any pattern or yarn base or yarn colorway that has fruit in it, or if you want to knit a fruit. I saw someone knit a little apple and a strawberry, which were very cute. That also counts. I'm going to tilt the computer screen up just a little bit. There we go. I realize I'm bending over a lot, so I can sit up tall. So that's going on in the Ravelry group. Feel free to join in as you wish. Next month is going to be your favorite color, so plan on that. I want to say thank you for all of you who are leaving such nice comments on YouTube as well as in the Ravelry group and in other places. I really do appreciate that. I may not respond to all of them, but I do read them, and thank you very much. I'm glad you are enjoying the podcast and everything. Well, let's get started with some knitting. And I have been knitting on one thing, the sweater. It is much farther along than you saw it last week. I'm now into ball 4 of yarn. I just joined the 4th ball today. It's Malabrigo Rastita, which is it's a single ply, what they call a DK. I'm calling it, it's more of a sport weight to me, but that's it. This is the natural colorway, so it's just undyed. Maybe it'll focus. Maybe if I cover my face, it'll focus. Anyway, that's the yarn. But I just joined the 4th ball today. And this is the sweater. So I think last time you saw it, I was probably about here, maybe a few more up. But I've knit both sleeves twice. If you follow me on Instagram, I knit the sleeves I'd cast on because I like super stretchy cuffs. So I cast on for the largest size, and then right after I decreased down to the size I'm knitting and knit away, and then I kept putting it on my arm thinking, oh, this will stretch out, it'll be fine. And I realized, no, I really just need to rip back and start over. And I had them both up to like here. So I had the whole arm up to here, and then I was like, no, Lucy, you really just need to rip it out. So I ended up ripping them out and knitting them over again. And I knit them 2 at a time. I mean, last time I knit them like in tandem because I only had 2 shorter cables instead of 1 long cable. But I put the body of this sweater on a different cable. And so I could use that long cable to do magic loop 2 at a time like I do on my socks. So that actually worked out better, and I ended up not decreasing, and I started the increases a lot sooner. I started them here instead of like here. My arm's like one kind of, well, I guess it does kind of expand, but anyway. So I knit both sleeves where they are. The I seem different lengths, but they're all the same length. And I joined them up. And I did all the yoke decreases, and now this is just on one of the shorter cables as a holder. And I grafted the underarms today during lunch. Ta-da! I think I did a pretty good job. I don't know. I don't do grafting that often, but I think they turned out pretty well. And now I am working on the button band. So I've got, this is my one long cable. I need to order more cables, but anyway, so I've got, it's a lot of sweater. So I think you said they're supposed to do 1 inch and then do the buttonholes. I may just do the buttonholes here because I don't want it super long. It also says to do this for 4 inches, and I didn't want it for 4 inches. I only wanted it for 3. So I'm doing just slight modifications. I'm not doing heavy modifications. I can't, here, let me put it on for you. Can actually put it on now. It looks super awkward putting it on. All right. And it's nice and warm today. Woo! Oh, let's not get that down my shirt. All right. So, tilt this down just a little bit. So here's the sweater. Fits very nicely so far. I mean, this is rolling galore, but when I get a button band in there, it'll unroll and be fine. So it fits well. I did do a couple extra rows in between, like you see. I did a couple decrease rows, and then it says to do some plain ones. I did some extra plain ones because, as I talked about before, my gauge is really tight, so I had to do some extra plain rows. But ta-da, it does, pull it around and then it does actually fit, but ta-da! So I'm really happy with it. It's really comfy, squishy, and it's really warm. So we're not going to wear that for the rest of the podcast. But sorry for the jiggling. Alright. So this is the Ginny cardigan. Sorry, I forgot to say this. Whoa, I've got the yarn wrapped around me. Hold on. It's the problem with trying it on and where the ball is. It's all over the place. Okay. So this is the Ginny cardigan by Chiba. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And it's got this awesome owl cape up the back. Ta-da! So it's a lot of sweater, as you can see from last week. So that's pretty much what I've been, okay, that is what I've been working on. That's not pretty much what I've been working on. That's it. So that's actually probably going to get finished in the next couple days. As you know, I leave for Prague this week. So I'm going to try to finish it before I go, and then tonight I'm going to go through some of my works in progress and see what I want to take with me. I know I have a bunch of socks on the needles that I really want to get finished, so I'll probably end up taking those. And a shawl that I started like in November. So that may go with me. I gotta see what I got. That's the only knitting thing that I have. Now that we're 9 minutes in. Woo! Go me! I've just been knitting a lot on that sweater. Actually, the rows were pretty long, and then they got even longer once I joined the sleeves in, so the decrease rounds were like, yeah! I was really excited for those. So that's it for knitting. I do have some fun things to show you. I know they're kind of knitting related. Okay, not really, but they're socks. I know that I've told you guys that I collect socks. So when I go on trips, instead of getting a t-shirt or a magnet or whatever people get when they go on trips, I get socks. So I have all these socks from different places, and I thought I would show you guys some of them. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I'm undoing all of them. Let's start, I think these are one of my earlier pairs. These are some of my favorite socks I got in Chicago, as they say. And now I live in Chicago, but I got these when I came with my dad during spring break of my senior year of high school to look at schools, because I applied for a school in Wisconsin. I ended up not going, but I got these cool socks. I think we went to the Sears Tower, which is now the Willis Tower, which everyone still calls it the Sears Tower, so whatever. But I got these awesome socks, which I love. I don't think this is the one I darned, but as you can see, that's where I wear out my socks. There and back of the heel. So, there's one. Yeah, this is the one I darned. You can kind of see me where I stitched it in. Okay, maybe it won't focus, but I did do some stitching in there. Maybe it's better to see it from the inside. Because they are knit, but I just wove in some green thread to kind of reinforce that worn area, because I wear them a lot. So those are my Chicago socks, my rainbow Chicago socks. These, as I was mentioning, I did not go to school around here. I went to school at Santa Clara. And of course, before I graduated, I had to get some socks. So these are my Santa Clara socks. I don't wear them very often, but because they're kind of thick. But I do like them. They're very warm. Going through my pile here. These are, well, while we're talking about California, these are some of my mountain biking socks that I got from one of my favorite biking shops. Whenever I needed help with my mountain bike, I would go to these guys, Trailhead Cyclery, and there you go. Ride hard, take chances. And these guys were great. I got to the point where I would walk in and they'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" I went there a lot, can you tell? So I got some socks. And I wear those a lot while mountain biking. Or just biking, because I haven't been mountain biking in a while because there's no mountains here. What are you gonna do? These are some socks that I got in New Zealand when I went a couple years ago. They're just very simple. They've got the New Zealand, I think that's the All Blacks, their rugby team. I think that's their logo. But it just says New Zealand. They're very simple. They're kind of thin. I always want them to be warmer than they are, and they're very thin, so they're more of summer socks. And these are ones that my brother got me, because he, instead of doing a semester abroad, like a traditional semester abroad, he did a semester on a boat that traveled around the world, which I think is the most awesome thing ever. So he got to go to like 14 different countries and take classes on the boat. Awesome. So of course he was like, "What do you want from, semester at sea?" And I was like, "Well, Lewis, I collect socks. See if they have some socks." So he totally got me some semester at sea socks, and I love these things. So there are two of each of these. I'm just only showing you one. And these are some very special socks. They don't have anything on them really, but these are some socks that I got while visiting some really good friends in California, and they are made out of bamboo. They say spun bamboo at the top. And I remember I walked into the store with my friend. It's like this artsy town, and they had this like all natural store, but it was clothing. So they had a lot of bamboo shirts and socks and like hemp shoes and all this crazy stuff. Anyway, he was like, "Bamboo? They make clothes out of bamboo?" I was like, "Yeah, it's really soft." He's like, "This is ridiculous." And then he put on a bamboo shirt and he's like, "Oh, I like this." And then he got the shirt, and then he wears it all the time. So these are some of my favorite socks because they're really soft. I often wear them when I travel, just because they're really comfortable and soft and squishy on the bottom. They're a little thicker on the bottom, the gray part. It's a little thicker, which is nice. So they're reinforced where they need to be. But they're just very simple, white and gray. But they're some of my favorite socks. And that's really it that I have. I've been meaning to share some about my special socks. Oh, I have one more pair of special socks. Let me go get those. Okay, I'm back. I actually lied. I do have the socks, but I put them away from the winter because they're really thick knit socks that I have two pairs actually. My grandmother knit me a pair because I was trying to find a pair of Prague socks last time I was there and I couldn't find one. So she knit me a pair and they say Praha on the side, which is the Czech for Prague. And so I thought that was really awesome. So I wear those a lot during the winter. They're great boot socks. They're worsted weight. And there's another family member. I don't know how they're all related. I just know we're all related. She's a cousin of some sort, and she also knit me a pair of socks. Well, she knit everyone in the family a pair of socks. Also worsted weight. Probably wool acrylic blend. I'm not entirely sure. But those are also great socks for the winter. But, of course, they're packed up for the winter because I put all my winter stuff away and took out my summer dresses and things like this. Summer tops. Oh, yes, this is my giraffe top. I think I've told you the whole giraffe story. That's another from my holiday story. In the dance department in my university, everyone kind of got an animal self. I don't know who decided this at some point, that everyone either looked like an animal or sounded like an animal or walked like an animal. I don't know who associated who with what. But I somehow got associated with a baby giraffe. I don't know how this worked, but all of a sudden then giraffe things started appearing in my life. Like my roommate bought me a giraffe print hoodie and I got this shirt, and then all people giving me stuffed giraffes, and then there's just giraffes everywhere. So I love me some giraffes. I'm not gonna complain. It's just really funny. Speaking of animals, I did find one more pair of really cool socks. These I got in California when I went to the Monterey Aquarium, I think, with my roommate, my college roommate, and her family. These are my Nemo socks. They're just little footy socks. But they look like Nemo. Well, they're just angelfish, which is now, of course, everyone calls them the Nemo fish, but my angelfish socks.